What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday. That's right, back on the grind. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Some of you in the US, you may have the day off due to the holiday, but as we know, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies never sleep, and Bitcoin is down 1.18%. In fact, we are back at the 8.7K level. So what the heck is going on? You can see right here, we had the breakout we were looking for. We came up to about that $9,141 level. And we dumped all the way down to $8,594, only to put us back basically at the exact same level we started at just a few days ago. Now, I know a lot of people are screaming manipulation. This is crazy what the whales are doing. Well, actually, there's a really good explanation for why this happened. In fact, there's two reasons that we had this dump, and I'm actually going to show you that in just a few minutes. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about. I do want to talk about the key levels short term that Bitcoin has to sort of maintain above if we want to keep this bullish momentum, right? That is what we're going to talk about, and the fact that there was sort of some more bullish news from China as well. And of course, we have a Bitcoin prediction, $500,000 Bitcoin by the year 2028. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, we do this every single day. And today is Monday, which means we are giving away a Ledger Nano S at the end of the video. All you got to do to be eligible is just drop a comment on literally any video throughout the course of the week. And every single Monday, we do pick a winner. Now, Bitcoin dominance is around 66%, which is pretty much where we've been hanging out for about a week or so. You can see some altcoins are doing well. DX Chain token has been like on an absolute tear these past few days. What specific news came out about it, I don't know. But we also have Aurora, V Systems, iExec, Silverway, Bitcoin, Cosmos, Stellar, Algorand, Neo with their updated logo, and MCO all doing all right today. We do have very low volumes still. I mean, Bitcoin only putting in around 374 million. It is a little bit on the bearish side. You can see the shorts are up a little bit. The needles are leaning slightly towards the sell side today. Now, just for a recap, in case you don't know what's going on, essentially we were pinched between the 200 and 100 daily. We fell, you can see right here, we struggled just to kind of get some support above the 21 exponential on the weekly, and we got rejected. So what is going on? Are we being manipulated? Well, let me show you two reasons real quick why I do think the price fell. Number one is we simply just hit resistance. I mean, that's basically what the situation was. If we actually just take this line right here, you can see we tried to break above it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally we dumped. So that is number one, why I think that Bitcoin honestly took the dump, because we actually just got stomped out by resistance. So you can see right here, we have 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 more days. We could still sort of ride this thing out. Bitcoin could even see that $8,500 level, right? We did touch it once already. We wicked off of it, but there is a potential to revisit that again. And number two, and this one was a little harder to spot. Now, this was over on the CME futures. Now, we actually put in a gap over the weekend, because don't forget, trading closes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There is no trading. So looking at this chart, you're probably going, well, what are you talking about? There's no gap. Well, actually, look right here. You can see we go from November 8th to November 11th, right? Because we had to literally skip the weekend. So actually, if we put the chart on a smaller time frame, like 4 hours, well, look at that. Now we have a gap right there. So basically what happened was, we opened and essentially we dumped to fill the gap. But this is actually good short term, because now we don't have to worry about it. I love when we fill gaps the next day, because then it just makes my life a lot easier, So that is really the main two reasons why. It was mostly just technically related. But, having a look at basically what some people are saying, for example, this is, a chart that some people are talking about. What Tyler Durden said, if you actually look at these fractals, right here with the blue and the gray, he's essentially saying, we had the pump, the sideways, and then this dump. So the question is, are we looking for a dump back down to $7,000? Well, I mean, obviously, if we realize the fact that we are still in this sort of downwards descending wedge and, having a look at sort of this previous resistance flip support, well, then yes, we actually could go down to 7,000. But I mean, that would essentially, it would be like a reverse pump. Like the other day, we had that crazy pump on October 25th. It would basically have to be a dump directly down, because, after November 16th, this line starts to trend back upwards again, and I am hoping to get supported by that, because that was the line that, we tried to break above it here. And then when we finally got above it, it became support, right? So So is 7,000 possible, essentially, is the question. Yes, anything is possible, but I mean, we would have to go down there relatively soon, like within the next few days, okay? But just having a look at sort of why I don't necessarily think we're gonna go down to 7,000, you could see right here. Actually, this is a cool indicator I just found out. It's literally called the Secret EMA Cloud, and it's totally free if you guys wanna download it. But anyway, you can see right here, essentially we did flip into the red territory, and now we are back in the green. And the other thing I wanna talk about is even though we are not being supported by the 200 daily moving average, you can see that the 200 exponential moving average has actually provided support, and the 89 exponential is now providing the resistance. So we are maybe going to bounce around in this area for a little bit longer, but I do just want to point out that even though we are sitting at, pretty much the damn near bottom of the line, we are technically in the green, so this is not full on bearish, even though I know a lot of people, they feel very bearish right now about the price. The other thing too I wanted to point out is we're sitting exactly, and this could be different by the time, all right, we're actually sitting a little bit below it, but for the most part, we're pretty much sitting exactly at this, support level that we've been looking at. And obviously the next level to get above is still that $9,478 level, or that 9.5K. We've been looking, we haven't changed these lines. We've been bouncing around in this area, ever since, basically we had that pump on the 25th, 26th, right? But here's the good news, okay? If we zoom out and we just literally have a look at the chart, what's happening right now, what do you see right now? And you don't have to be like an amazing technical analyst to see what this is. This is a classic bull flag, bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, you have the flag right here, and now you have the flag pole right here, and now you're putting in the flag. Now, originally, it was looking a little bit more like a triangle. Now it's starting to look more like an actual flag itself. But technically, this is actually a kind of bullish move that we've recently had. So you would be looking to actually break out to the upside should this play out textbook, right? But we do know that Bitcoin can be a bit of a crazy animal. But the other thing I wanted to show you too, I know that fractals don't necessarily provide the greatest sort of blueprint, I guess, but they do give sort of a template, right? And you can see right here, we were talking about this, how, we had the big wedge from the end of 2017 into 2018, we had the dump and then the pump, and then basically we put in a mini one. Well, what's interesting is you could see, even after we fell out of this 3-month consolidation, triangle, look at this. We came up here, we tried to touch resistance, and we dumped all the way down to the $7,300 level. And, honestly, if you look at what we're doing right now, it's basically just on a smaller time scale, right? Essentially, we came up, we hit resistance, and we dumped back down, which is exactly what we did here, right? Up, down, up. And that's what we're doing here, up, down. So the question is, are we looking for the pump next, right? That is what I'm thinking. And honestly, the ultimate level to beat, everyone's like, what is the ultimate level? The ultimate level. Well, if you look at where the VPVR had the most volume, it was around the $10,334 level, okay? And interestingly enough, do you think this was a coincidence? When we had the crazy pump over the weekend of October 25th, that's exactly where the wick stopped, right there. So that to me is the ultimate level. Get above 10,334. And then obviously once you can put in right above this sort of 10.8K right here to put in the next higher high, or at least a short-term higher high, well, then I think that would definitely be blue skies for Bitcoin. But right now, we are not out of the woods, and we do need to keep our eyes on the chart. So once again, guys, if you are trading on, over on Bybit, like I said, I don't suggest going higher than 10x leverage. But over here, even if you are going to try to trade the short term, if you do think we're going to pop, really, you want to get above just this. This is very low time frame. Be careful trading the 30-minute, but you would want to get above sort of 8753. And actually, right in here where we had this pump, it's kind of like no man's land. So you might, if you're feeling a little more like you kind of want to take a risk, you can kind of put maybe a buy-in right here, put in a limit order, maybe 8.9, and it might just completely slice through it like butter. But honestly, I would sort of sit back and wait for some confirmation on what Bitcoin wants to do, because we still are kind of in a bit of a critical zone right now, right? So that's just basically what's going on. If you guys are interested, I do have a tutorial. I will drop that above. But guys, if you don't love Bitcoin predictions, well, Bobby Lee recently came out And this is actually a response to a tweet that he had put out earlier, where he said Bitcoin was designed to be super valuable over time. First 10 years, there were only 2 block reward halvings, but the next 10 years, there'll be 3. That's 50% more. By the 20th year, daily new output will be just 255 Bitcoin. Now, just to put that in perspective, daily output will be just 255 Bitcoin. Let's have a look at what Bakkt is doing right now. 879. That's not even enough to cover the demand for just Bakkt, which people have been making fun of, for how it had a slow start. Just want to point that out, number one, okay? But he does then say gold is about an $8 trillion market cap today, which is 50 times the worth of Bitcoin. He says he predicts that the flippening will happen within 9 years and Bitcoin will shoot up past $500,000 per coin, which basically means that Bitcoin would surpass the market cap of gold. He also says, and with all the money printing that's happening globally, Bitcoin will actually very likely be over $1 million. Because think about it, if the dollar continues to depreciate 2 to 3% annually, that should kind of prop up Bitcoin's price alone, right? Theoretically speaking. Plus, you also have guys talking about, this asteroid that's full of gold that's going to maybe screw up all the metrics and everything else. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think a $500,000 Bitcoin is, possible within the next 9 years? Let me know. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say. But here's the other good news that came out of China. So they had a state news agency, and I'm definitely going to pronounce this wrong. Actually, how do you pronounce this? Let's actually just let the computer pronounce it so I don't screw it up. Xinhua. Okay, that's how we're saying it. So the Chinese state news agency Xinhua has published a front page article on Bitcoin. This is the article right here. Basically, in the article, Xinhua details how Bitcoin works and goes in depth into how public and private keys differ, how new cryptocurrency enters the market, and they even touched on the halving event. They pointed out that Bitcoin has a pseudo-anonymous nature, but once again, they clearly had to talk about how its main use case was the darknet, which it's not because Bitcoin is clearly traceable. But nevertheless, you could see right here, they say it's not clear how big the audience is for this, particular publication, but they say that it's a state-run news outlet, which means that it could potentially reach China's 1.4 billion people. And it has been ranked as one of the top news agencies in the world. So it's a lot of eyes lately, a lot of exposure for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. In fact, the president over here, Z, again, he says the global market intelligence company IDC recently published a report showing that China's take on blockchain technology-based business will increase massively over the next few years, right? They were calling that pump the President Z pump. So essentially it says that China is set to increase the yearly spending amount on blockchain and is planned to exceed $2 billion by 2023. As per the estimation from the report, that would mean a compounding growth rate of over 65% per year. So that's going to be that's definitely going to be a lot of people having their eyes on it, right? So I thought that was cool between that and the fact that they did kind of talk about, Bitcoin being the first successful application of blockchain. So they really are pushing the blockchain over in China. But, speaking about, inflation and all this other stuff, I saw this article. And it says the world's billionaire population surged by 40% in the last 5 years. So you read an article like this and you think to yourself, well, okay, there's a lot of new technologies emerging, right? We have all these cool new things like Netflix and Uber, right, that we didn't have years ago. But at the same point, you also got to wonder, is money being valued at the rate that it used to be? I heard a statistic that the millionaires in the US alone is up I think 3 times what it was a few decades ago. So there are more millionaires in America than there have ever been before by a substantial amount, and the world billionaire population has surged by 40%. So if all of these people are making all of this money suddenly, one hand, you could argue, okay, well, there's emerging markets, emerging technologies, all this stuff. But at the same time, maybe the value of money is just not what it used to be, right? Maybe this is just hyperinflation, just sort of starting worldwide, where you're just seeing all these millionaires and billionaires pop up, but the value and the purchasing power of the money that they have is not what it used to be. Let me know what you think. It's just a theory. I could be totally off on this one, but I just think if you're seeing all these millionaires and billionaires popping up across the world, it kind of tells me that maybe the value of the money isn't what it used to be either. Just consider that as well, right? The other thing too is, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently you guys have seen the memes, the Epstein didn't kill himself. Apparently there's an ERC20 token, Bakkt, that's coming out. It looks very similar to the bomb token. 1 out of every 1,000 transfers gets completely whacked. Oh, that sounds like fun to use. So yeah, I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw this, so we may be getting an Epstein coin. We just might. We'll keep our eyes on it. But also having a look at Bakkt, 879. Let's give it a refresh. Over 1,000 today. So yeah, Bakkt volume is definitely looking good. And yeah, see what happens. This is what I'm talking about. How now this support right here, where we kept touching it. Now we're having difficulty breaking above it. So those are the levels I talked about. Definitely keep your eyes on that, guys. But it is time to give away the Ledger Nano S. So we had 6 videos last week. I know I didn't make a video yesterday, guys. I'm sorry. I had a lot of stuff going on. So that is Wednesday's video. Okay. So we'll go right here to Wednesday. This was Bitcoin in critical zone. Oh, this was funny. This was when somebody didn't believe that I actually had a bunch of ledgers. All right, so let's go, which I'm giving away right now. So let's see how many comments we had. 757 unique comments. All right, drum roll please for the Ledger Nano S. Crypto keys. Once Bitcoin climbs to 20K again, people will wish they got in now. Don't wish, just plan accordingly. Oh, that is such a good point. You make such a great point. Everybody always rushes in when it's too late. Back when Bitcoin was 3,000, 4,000, nobody wanted to touch it, and you had months to accumulate at that level. Literally months to dollar cost average at 3K, 4K, and then 5K, we had that pop, right? So I agree. No one's going to buy it. It's going to go back to 20K, and then they're all going to want to get in again. Absolutely what I think is going to happen. 20K is going to be like Black Friday, where they all just rush through the door. So you are the winner of the Ledger Nano S crypto keys, although with a name like that, I assume you're already good to go. But you are definitely the winner. You can hit me up in my official About section, or you can join the Telegram group. I am an official administrator. That is the only place to get a hold of me. Do not listen to any of the comments below. I have a lot of imposters, but that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I hope you are having a great start to your week. Thank you so much again. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. So thank you so much once again for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I attempt to do this every single day. Some days are just crazy. Also, just to let you know, I was supposed to go to the Block Asia event in Singapore. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do that. A lot of stuff came up. I didn't even have a chance to get a flight yet. I did buy a ticket, but I'm just going to say there's like a 95% chance I'm not going to be in Singapore. So I'm really sorry for everybody that was, maybe planning on going out there. It's probably